What's up, guys? Welcome to the tuning section of the course. This is so fundamental, so important. As you already know, we've talked about how the drums will sound in a sound-treated room and how much that has to do with the drum recording sound. Now we're thinking about how are your drums going to sound in a recording if they're tuned correctly, right? That's the next most important piece of the puzzle. We're going to start with the snare drum. I'm going to start with the resonant head, okay, the bottom head. The first thing I want to note is this is a Ludwig Black Beauty. I've got a simple Remo Ambassador on the resonant head here, and I'm not replacing this head. I'm just going to tune it up because right now it is out of whack a little bit. It's not in tune. It's not where it should be. One of the main principles of getting a good snare sound is getting the resonant head to be tuned higher than the batter head. Okay, so your bottom head should actually be tuned higher, get that really good snare response, and then it's really controlling a lot of the tone of the drum. The top head controls a lot of the feel. Also, it does have to do with tone. I know some people say top heads all feel, but really it also has to do with the tone. If your top head is way out of tune, the drum's gonna sound bad as well. But you want to get that relationship right, and there is a way to check that, and we're going to go into that. First of all, if you notice my snare wires, one of the first things you can do to kind of upgrade your snare sound is to, and you want more snare response, upgrade your snare wire to a higher wire count. So this is a 30 strand wire. You can see how thick it is. This is by Pure Sound. It really gets a lot more snare sizzle, more of that fine articulation, and you can control that presence, very well, having a really thick strand across there. So that's one way to upgrade it, okay? But let's get right into the tuning methods. So you can tune by ear, and that's great. And if you have been doing that for a long time and you don't need to use any technology, that's great. Although I don't think there's anything wrong with using a tool, so you can always make sure you're being really accurate, and it's actually going to save you time. So you can always get really consistent, and you can be time efficient, and I'm all about that. Efficient and effective, right? Efficient and effective are two things that are your best friends when it comes to anything in life, especially when we're trying to get our drums to sound great. The drum dial measures the tension of your lugs, so that is one way to do it. The other way to do it is the TuneBot, and the TuneBot measures the frequency. So this is more of the tone of the drum. It measures the actual frequencies. So the tool that I prefer to use on the snare is actually the drum dial, just because I'm used to that. Can you use the TuneBot? Yes, you can. I've found that it's, for me, a little easier to just use the drum dial. I've kind of found the tensions that I like, and sometimes the TuneBot, with having the snare on there, doesn't get the same read. I think the TuneBot works great for tuning toms. They're very resonant. You can hear the tones very well. It picks it up very well. So I'm going to save the TuneBot for doing the tom tuning. I'm just going to go ahead and use the drum dial. So let's go around, see what our snare's at. We might need to bump it up, make some adjustments before we do the top head. So here we go. All right, so I've completely detuned my resonant head and detached the snare wire so I can really work on the head easier and get a good read. So I've only finger tightened it. You can see it's an existing head. It's got all types of wrinkles in it. We're just going to start from scratch, so that way if you are, putting on a fresh new head, then we're all working from the same point here. So I'm doing half turns around here. And that way I can get a nice even tightening here. So I go around. That one's not, there we go. That one's still loose. Okay. That one. Now, since this head was already used, it already was broken in. I'm not seating the head up. Excuse me, I'm not pressing down on it to kind of break the seal around the edge. It's already had that done because this has been played on. So I like mine around 87, my bottom one around 87. So I'm going to go for that. I'm I'm going to go for that tension here. Let me just go around and check that out. Right now I'm about 85 on some of these, so it shouldn't be too much more to get this cranked up to where I need to be. All right, so I'm right about that sweet spot of tension, around 87, 88, where I like it for the bottom head. And you can see it sounds completely even, sounds great. I'm gonna go ahead and reattach the snare wire. Let's go over to the top head of the snare, and let's go ahead and change it out. We're gonna change it out and put a fresh new Evans HG dry head on the top of here because I love those heads. So let's get into it. Sometimes little dust, little wood gets stuck underneath there, so I just give it a little wipe. So I'm gonna go around and I'm just gonna get everything finger tight. Now, put pressure on the head. This is called seating the head. We want to expand it because if we just go ahead and tighten it from here, then it's going to get loose again really quick when we go and play it, and then we're gonna have to tighten it all back up again. So you can really press into this head. It's not gonna break. Put your weight on this. Okay, now I'm gonna go around again, finger tighten this back up. Make sure everything's nice and even. Now, I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna tune it up. And I like to use 2 drum keys. Now, I'm not gonna start going super tight, and I just use 2 so that I get a nice even tightening as I go around. So here we go. And there we go, starting it out nice and easy here. All right, so nice and even, and you can see already we're making progress. So I'm doing a nice half turn. All right. So we tried to do it nice and even starting out, but let's see if it's an even read or we need to make adjustments. It's probably going to be off. Not everything's that easy, so I'm sure I'm going to have some high ones and some low ones. You can already hear that one was high, these were low. This one's high, that's low. That's high, that's low. Okay, so let's see what the drum dial says. So we got 82, 84, 84, 81, 84. Yeah, that one's the low one. 70. What is that? 76. So this one needs to come up right away. It's way lower than all the other ones. Let's give that a nice crank. Okay, this one's at 80. This is also pretty low. I'm going to give this a little crank. 82, 84, 81. Okay, and these, so this side's kind of already on the higher side, all at about 84, 85. Whereas we have this side a little bit lower, 82, 82, 83, 82. So I'm going to give this a little crank. I'm going to bring these guys up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so now we're at all around a pretty nice even tension. All around at about 85. Let's see how that sounds. Sounds really good. Really, really good. We can bring up the tension. A little too much, choking out the... Now, that's a great starting point. You can go higher, you can go lower. I want to see what the TuneBot says about this top head. Let's see how this measures up, okay? I'm going to clip this baby right here. Okay, 295, 299, 296, 292, 292, 292, 295, 299, 296, 293, 292. I think I like the frequency 295, so I'm going to make them all match this frequency now. So we've got a nice even pitch all the way around. And that's what's great about this TuneBot, is that it gets down to that really minute frequency level. So you can really, really get accurate with this. That's why I brought this out, even though I'm used to using the drum dial. When I really want to get exact, I bring this guy out and it gets the job done. So let's hear how the snare sounds all together now. Give it a listen. I might tweak it a little bit more from here, but overall I'm pretty satisfied. Sounds clear. There's no nasty overtones. I'm really digging this sound. Sounds like a solid crack. I do like it on the higher side, so this is naturally a little higher tuning, but you can change the tuning whatever style and sound you really need. So let me just see how this sounds in a groove. Really loving that. Nice and clear, no nasty overtones. Great, nice, higher pitched kind of tuning. You can change that to be more of a medium tune, low tune, but that's the general rule of thumb, guys. Have the bottom head at a higher tuning than the top head, and make sure that the top is in tune with itself and the bottom is in tune with itself. If you follow those two things and you use helpful tools like the drum dial and the TuneBot, you're going to get a great snare sound.